Hidden within the ridges of Nepal's Gulmi district, between 1,800 and 2,200 meters above sea level, the terrain suddenly plunges into a deep, bowl-like depression. Down at the very bottom lies the isolated village of Bharse. In topographies this extreme, most villages struggle with basic survival, typically relying on subsistence farming and whatever limited aid the state can provide. But Bharse is an outlier. Visitors today find paved roads, organized community homestays, and modern local infrastructure. This self-reliance has deep roots. In 1951, a time when rural education in Nepal was nearly non-existent, the village established the Jana Sahayog Secondary School, outfitting the region with its first major educational institution. Higher up the ridges, the community has built accessible viewpoints and the massive Deralali Buddhist stupa, turning the surrounding peaks into a developed tourist destination. None of this was a state-sponsored mega project. Almost everything you see was funded, built, and maintained entirely by the villagers themselves. How did a remote community, trapped at the bottom of a sunken valley, generate the millions of rupees required to independently fund this level of development? Magar copper miners founded Bharse hundreds of years ago. These founders relied on indigenous engineering to survive. They would locate hidden copper veins by smelling the rocks, tracking minerals deep into the mountainside. The work was grueling. Miners carved out complex tunnels by hand, navigating the dark with only a burning bamboo torch. While the miners worked below, the political landscape above them shifted. The village, originally ruled from the Bar, was eventually conquered and absorbed by the more powerful Gulmi kingdom. The conquest brought a cultural penalty. The native Kham language was outlawed under threat of punishment, causing the dialect to eventually vanish from the community. To manage the transition, the Gulmi king integrated local leaders, granting them the title Budathaki as a mark of their new administrative role. This history of underground labor and geopolitical change created a culture of extreme persistence. When the copper mines finally reached exhaustion, the village was already prepared for a radical economic shift. With the mines empty, the men of Bharse turned to a new export. They became Lahures, or soldiers. Recruitment began on a massive scale. Records show 84 men from this village fought in World War I and another 24 in World War II. The tradition grew until nearly every household in Bharse had at least one member serving in the British, Indian, or Nepali armies. Their service earned them global recognition and high honors, including the Victoria Cross, the highest award for bravery in the British military. This multi-generational service introduced a consistent flow of foreign wages and pensions into the isolated valley. By shifting from raw copper to global military service, Bharse redirected its economic future. Inside the village's Gurkha photo galleries, the walls are covered with the faces of the men who drove this transformation. The military ties became hereditary, with some families seeing fathers and sons serving side by side in the same foreign regiments. Usually, this level of foreign wealth leads to brain drain, where families use their pensions to abandon rural life for major cities. But Bharse created a diaspora dividend. Instead of leaving, retired soldiers channeled their pensions from the UK, India, and Hong Kong back to the village. This pooled capital bypassed government projects, directly funding schools, roads, and the Deralali Stupa. Retired officers, such as Lieutenant Kul Bahadur Budathaki, took on leadership roles from abroad, organizing million-rupee infrastructure projects through private donations. Bharse demonstrates that development can be driven from within. By leveraging a global military tradition, this community raised the capital and the leadership to lift itself out of the valley.